Hi everyone. Hi everyone. How are you doing, everyone? Come on in, come on in, come on in. We are ready for my first episode for Happy Teachers Travel Show. Come on in, come on in. And today we're also going to be launching our business partner program. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about that later on. I'm just waiting for people to come on in. And also we have a guest speaker today. Can you imagine that? We have a guest speaker today. So we're going to talk about all things travel. We're talking about all things travel. Come on in, everyone. All right, so as people come on in, I want to welcome you to our first episode in Happy Teachers Travel Show. And this series really is to encourage persons from the Caribbean to travel, just to get out there and to learn about the different aspects of travel. You have many different aspects of the travel industry. And remember that this industry is a $1 trillion industry. It is a $1 trillion industry. Let us never forget that. So there are many aspects of this industry that you can participate in or be a part of. But my specific focus is going to be on you as a traveler going to different countries, how you can get travel deals to book your trips, whether it is a flight, a cruise, a vacation, whatever it is. And also, I want to encourage you to take on a travel business. Hey, you'll never know, right? What can happen when you take on some new venture. So if you're looking something new to do in 2022, come on board and let me know if you are interested. All right? Hi. Hi, Eulalie. How are you? Where are you from? Let me know. All right, so let me tell you a little bit more about my business before I even go into the guest speaker, because she is coming soon. So, as you know, my name is Venice Irving. I am CEO of Happy Teachers. However, in addition to being CEO of Happy Teachers, we have expanded about mid this year. Really, it's about September or so. We have taken on a travel services arm for our business. So what does that mean? That means that when you come to me, I can book you. And if you are interested in taking a cruise, taking flights, anything regarding travel, I can book you for that. All right? So that's the new arm of the business that we're doing, and we have expanded into that. All right? So let me I'm just inviting our guests. Hold on, let me see if I can invite her. Trying to get her on, but not seeing her. Not seeing her at all. Hopefully she'll get on soon so that I can add her. All right, so the new arm of the business has really exploded. I mean, I started in September and we already have a team. We already have a team of 7 persons. So, I mean, let me tell you, it has been one thing after the next. One thing after are just really intrigued with this travel industry. Hi.
Hi, Venice. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Welcome, welcome. I was just telling persons that coming on that I have a guest speaker, And hi, people are just coming in slowly but surely. This is peak hours for a lot of people, you know. This is when they want to watch their news or their favorite TV show, but I'm encouraging them to come on and just relax with us here because I have been so intrigued by you and your Instagram account and just what you are doing on the Instagram account. I just had to get you on. And this is our first episode in our new show,
Okay.
which is the Happy Teachers Travel Show. So I was
Nice.
just telling people that we are expanding and we have now travel services as a part of my company. So
Okay.
we are offering travel services to people, and a part of that is for me to open the platform and invite people like you to come on and talk about your experiences with travel and to encourage people from the Caribbean, from the
Exactly.
Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I
Because
agree.
it just seemed, I don't know about you, but in Jamaica here, it just seemed as if only people from foreign land can travel. Like, hello, we are living large people. We are in the Caribbean and we are living large.
Exactly.
So, Sandy, the first thing I want you to do for persons who don't know Sandy, you can just introduce yourself quickly.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So my name is Sandy Campbell. I am from the Bahamas, born in Nassau, Bahamas, born and raised in Nassau, the Bahamas. Lived here most of my life, other than going to college and then working abroad for some years. And now I'm back home. I'm in the Bahamas. And so I'm a navigator by profession, a boat captain. My work is in the maritime industry with commercial vessels, yachts, anything to do on the water is basically in my portfolio. So that's actually how I got into traveling, was working on commercial vessels because you work on these vessels. Well, we work on these vessels, and we get to sail to all these different countries to offload our cargo, or to meet a ship, or to pick up other crew members. And so by doing that, I got exposed to so much that I hadn't been exposed to before. I got to sail all around Asia, Europe, just an amazing, enriching experience. And so one of the things that I always loved to do is whenever I was on vacation, I would always try and go back to those places that I had seen while we were on the ship. Go back to China, go back to Wales, go back to the Philippines. Like those were the places I would just go back to. Because when we're on the ship, we're only there for 2 days at a time.
Right.
So we don't get to explore and see a lot. But on my downtime and my vacation, I use that time to go back and actually explore. And so that's how I got to see all of these beautiful destinations. And that's really where my love affair with travel began, and what really got me into traveling, not only recreationally, but also now transitioning it into being something where I can help other people travel and especially women of color, get out there and really see the world.
Listen, people, this is what I love to hear. I love to hear Black women going out there and just forging ahead
Yes.
in any new territory. Now, you started in
Mm-hmm.
the shipping, maritime
Yes.
business as a career. You said you were a boat navigator, and I want you to get a little bit more into that for persons who are interested in that, because that is a man's field
It is.
that is laden with men everywhere. Now,
It is.
let
Yes.
us get into how did you get introduced to that? What intrigued you to get into this field that is supposed to be for men?
Well, what happened is how I really got into the field is that I was at the University of the Bahamas, studying, getting my first degree. And I literally had a conversation with someone. They just asked me one day, what is it that you're doing with your life? And I thought it was such a weird question because I'm like, well, I'm in college, I was studying business at the time. And so I was telling him, and he was like, okay, hold 1 second. And he went and he got this brochure from this university, and he showed me the brochure, and I saw like all these large commercial vessels. I saw students on this beautiful campus. I saw all these boats, and it really intrigued me. And so I did some more research into it. And after graduation, after I finished my bachelor's, I actually totally switched gears and went into the maritime industry and went to study at SUNY Maritime College in New York. Um, and at the time, I had never heard about maritime. I didn't know what maritime meant. Even though I'm from an island, even though I'm from Bahamas, like I never knew what maritime meant. And so I literally, I call it, I get baptized by fire. Like I literally was just thrown in and like you had to sink or swim. I had to figure it out, and it was an amazing experience. One thing I love about the maritime industry is that there's just so many opportunities. So many different opportunities. If you want to work on board a vessel, if you want to work shoreside, if you want to work in a technical area, it's just so many different facets to the industry. And I always encourage young people to get involved in it, and especially to get involved young. When I got into the industry, I must have been, by the time as I graduated, I must have been like 26. And so I would be considered getting in at a very late stage, because when I went on my first commercial vessel, which was a gas tanker, I met people who had started when they were 16.
What?
People from the UK, but in the UK, they start an apprenticeship from they're 16 years old. So here I am coming in at 26, 27. They've already been at this for 10 years.
Right.
So it was a steep learning curve. So I always encourage young people to, if you're going to get into this field, especially get into it early. You can make a lot of money. You can save a lot of money, because everything is basically taken care of for you while you're on the ship. It's a good time to save. You don't have to do it forever if you don't want to. Of course, if you want to, you can. It's a career. But it's a really good opportunity for young people to make a lot of money and to see the world.
That's interesting. So what did you study at the University of Nassau?
Marine transportation.
Oh, so you did marine transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So because you did something in the maritime sphere, you got a chance to go in. So listen, this is for anybody who is watching right now, any parent that have young children, teenagers, and they're currently trying to figure out which career to go in, because I'm ready to tell my son, listen up, go into the maritime right now,
How
because
old
we
is
do
your
have
son?
he's just 8.
But
But
they have a wonderful maritime university in Jamaica.
yes, I was about to say we do have a maritime university in Jamaica, so we can start from now, getting him prepared and getting him
Exactly.
ready.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I have a friend her dad was a sailor, so he would sail all over. All right, so one more thing about um what you did before I ask the question here. You started on the boat or on the ship. You said it's an oil gas tanker at 26 years old. How long did it take you to rise up the ranks to captain?
Well, it doesn't take you long to rise up the ranks. It just depends on what company you work for. So the company actually sets the pace for how you get promoted. So, for example, you start off as a third officer. So to get promoted from third officer to second officer, it could take 2 years, it could take 4 years, it could take 5 years. It just depends on your work ethic, how hard you work, how quickly
And how
you
quick you
learn,
learn. Right,
how
right.
quickly you learn the next position up. Because I know some people that have gotten promoted in 1 year, 2 years, and then some people who've been in the same role for 5 years. So it just depends on how quickly you learn, how willing you are to be a team player. Also a lot of it has to do with your safety culture, how in tune you are with safety of the vessel. It's a lot of things that goes into it, but it goes back to you. It all depends on how quickly you want to rise up, because there's about 4 levels before you get all the way up. So it just depends on you. It could take some people 10 years to get all the way up, so it just depends. So I always tell people, from you get in, don't go on a vessel thinking you know it all, right? Go on there like a sponge, just ready to soak up everything and just willing to learn.
Right. Okay, so someone is asking, do you need a degree to work on a gas tanker?
No, you do not need a degree. There's a terminology called, I think it's working your way up the horse pipe is a terminology that's used. Basically, it means that you start from the ground level, probably as a helper or as an OS, an ordinary seaman, and then you work your way up through the ranks. However, and I'm not sure how it is in the States, but in order to be an officer, you need to pass some external examinations. So that would come with a course of study that you would have to do, and then you would have to pass these exams. So I don't know in the States if you have to get a degree or not in order to be promoted to officer, but I do know that there are a set of U.S. Coast Guard exams that you must take and pass.
Okay, great. All right, listen, I didn't expect to be asking you so many questions, but this is so interesting. This is so
Thank you.
interesting. So congratulations with
Thank
everything. I mean, I know people coming on probably wondering, what? We need to hear more. All right, so let us go right into the different countries that you have visited. Now, you said you visited the countries because of work originally, and then you decided to just go back, retrace your steps to really truly enjoy the
Yeah.
richness of the culture. So just let us know how many countries you've been to and what keeps you going back. Is there one particular country that keeps beckoning you to come back?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the last time I checked, I've visited 56 countries over 5 continents over the last 10 years. And, I recently well, the country that always keeps me coming back is Greece. I've been to Greece about 4 times.
Wow.
4 times between 2016 and now. I would have traveled to Greece a total of 4 times. Greece is my absolute favorite place in the world, just because there's so much history, there's so much richness of culture, and just so much natural beauty. And one of the places that I love to go is the Greek islands, especially when I'm on downtime, when I'm not creating content, when I just want to relax. I just want to get away. I want to unplug. I want to relax. It's definitely the Greek islands. Love Santorini. Love Mykonos. Like those are just where I love to unwind, right?
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Last year, for the first time, right before everyone went on lockdown for the pandemic, I got the opportunity to visit West Africa. So I was able to go to Ghana and to Nigeria. Had an amazing time. I was ready to move to Nigeria. I was ready to
Wow.
move there. And all of my family, they were like, when are you coming back? How long are you going to be there? Because while I was there, I kept extending my ticket to stay longer
Yes.
and longer and longer. And I came home right before we went on lockdown. But between Greece and West Africa, those two are like my go-to.
Okay. All right. This is good, solid information, because Greece has always been on my bucket list. And when I see pictures of Santorini, it takes my breath
Oh,
away. I can just
listen,
imagine, how it looks in real life. I
Bennett,
mean,
listen to me. I was in
uh-huh.
Greece, and I'm taking pictures and I'm taking selfies and I'm doing all of this, right? And then I'm looking at my phone, and real life is actually better than the pictures. A lot of times it's like the picture is like, oh, that's fake, oh, that's
Right,
made up.
right.
Real life, what I was seeing in real life was better than what was on my camera, on my picture.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, this place is absolutely amazing.
Wow. I can just imagine. And I love Greek food. So, hey,
Me too.
that's another thing too. All right.
So do
So you
I. Absolutely love it.
Yes. So you talk about your two favorite parts of the world, West Africa and Greece. Now let us look at the least favorite. And I want you to tell me the reason why those countries, or maybe one particular country, was the least on your list.
I can't even think of a least favorite. I've been trying to rack my brain, like, what is your least favorite place, or what is some place that, you would never want to go back to? And honestly, everywhere I've been, I've had such great experiences that I can't
That's
single
good.
out any one place to say, oh, that's my least favorite, or I don't want to go there because everywhere I've gone has been, a lot of amazing memories. So that one I'm
That's
kind of
great.
stuck on.
Yes, that's good because you have people that have traveled and have had terrible experiences. But
Yeah.
what I will ask you though is, have you had any experience regarding race relations, traveling abroad as a Black woman? Any experience, whether positive or negative, that you'd like the audience or the viewers to know about?
Yeah, definitely. I've had a negative experience in Ireland. And the thing is that I had never experienced, well, not, yeah, now that I think about it, that was probably the only negative experience that I've ever had. I've never experienced direct racism until I went to Ireland. And this would have been, I think, in 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. I went into a restaurant and I was plugging in my cell phone, trying to, charge my phone. And there was a table of four people next to me, four white people next to me. And I was trying to like plug in my phone, but the outlet was like a little bit behind the chair of one of the persons that was dining. And it was a fast food restaurant, not like a big fancy restaurant, just like a fast food restaurant. And so I said, excuse me, so that I could try and put my, charge my phone. And so they didn't say anything, no one responded. So I said, excuse me, again, like, nice and polite, not loud and abrasive. I was like, excuse me, they didn't hear me. The third time I said, hi, excuse me, sir, I'm just trying to, and so the guy jumps up and he screams at me and he was like, get the F away from us. And I was like, whoa. I was like, excuse me? He was like, get the F away from us. We don't want you sitting next to us. And I was so shocked, like my mouth literally dropped open. And like no one had ever spoken to me like that before, and especially someone who I didn't know, and just for no apparent reason. And so I said, I was still trying to plug my phone in because I was like, okay, whoa, whatever. And I was still trying to do it. And so the other people at the table, all of them jumped up. And so now all of them are standing and screaming at me and telling me to get out of the restaurant. They don't want me sitting next to them. They don't want me in the restaurant. So then one of the ladies at the table, she calls the manager and she tells the manager, listen, tell her to leave. She's not buying anything. She needs to go. So then the manager was like, well, she's charging her cell phone. We don't have a policy against people not being able to come into the restaurant and charge their cell phone, so I'm not going to tell her to leave. And so they were like, oh, and so at this point they're mad because now the manager is telling them that I don't have to leave. And so they start screaming, all these racial slurs and all these, stuff that I can't even say at me. And it was like four of them. And these are like four big burly people. And, they're screaming all these racial slurs and telling me to get away. And it was just a very scary experience. And, the restaurant was full that day. And literally nobody came to my defense except maybe one gentleman. He was sitting in the corner. And he came and he got up and he was telling the people, like, leave her alone. Because, like, they were, like, in my face at this point. Like, the four of them were just in my face, screaming at me, swearing at me, cursing at me. And so he literally, because I was like still in shock, so he literally came and he pulled me and he was like, listen, get your stuff, let's go because this situation is escalating. So he helped me get all my things, I got my phone and everything, and he walked me out. And he just was like, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. But, we started explaining that, with different African immigrants and stuff like that, a lot of people were upset, tensions were high, they felt like they were losing jobs to immigrants and all these different things. But my thing is, nobody even talked to me or knew where I was from. They just automatically made an assumption, I guess, whatever assumption it was that they made, and they literally just started attacking me. So that was the first time I'd ever experienced any type of racism as a Black woman. But, it still hasn't deterred me from going back there. It's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful country, and I would still go back in a heartbeat. Outside of that, I haven't had any negative experiences there.
Wow.
Mhm.
I am shocked, not surprised, but still shocked to hear what
Yeah,
has
that was,
happened.
that was scary because it was like these people do not know me like at all. And I'm a very bubbly, friendly, outgoing person. I'm always smiling. I don't have resting bitch face. So you would not you would not like get a bad vibe on attitude from me. So that's how I know that they literally just targeted me.
Okay, well, like I said, there are no words. I could tell you stories on end on my part and how I have
Oh
experienced
wow.
those things too. So and that's the reason why I asked that question because we can't sweep it under the carpet and pretend that it doesn't happen. As
Yeah.
Black people traveling in the world from time to time, you're gonna find people like that. And for the viewers out there, it's not always like that.
No.
It's probably just 0.5% of your experience compared to the rest, right? But you
Exactly.
have to be aware and be careful. And I always tell people before you travel, research the
Yeah.
country that you're going to. I mean, you'll never know who will approach you and how they will approach you, but you still have to prepare and do your research just in case. All right?
Exactly. And I always tell people too, when you're traveling and you're like interacting with the locals, try to avoid, conversations about politics and race
Yes.
and immigration.
Yes.
Like those are always like hot button topics, you know what I
Topics.
mean? So those are conversations that I try to avoid if possible. And
Right.
depending on where you're going and what the
Yes.
climate is there, you know.
Yes. All right. Very good. All right. So now I'm going to talk about what's next on your list. What is on your bucket list? What's your next travel destination? And how do you choose these
Mhm.
places that you're planning to go?
Well, what's next on my bucket list is Central America. And how I basically choose where I'm going. Whenever I choose, like, okay, if I'm planning 2022 and I'm planning my travel year, I like to plan travel based on regions. So, for example, for 2022, I've decided that the region I'm going to focus on is Central America. So, Central America has 7 countries. So, I'm going to try over the next year to try to knock out those 7 countries and try to see as much as I can in all of them. So, I try to do my travel by region so that once I've completed a region, okay, now I can move on. And then once I've done all of the bucket list experiences that I want to do, I can circle back to those ones. And what I had planned actually last year, 2020, um, was to do like like the South Pacific, so like Jakarta in Indonesia,
Right.
Malaysia, like that
Bali.
whole area, right? I was supposed to do um, during 2020, right? I had blocked out 2 months and I was going to travel those countries. But of course, we ended up in the pandemic, so I had to cancel all of that last year. But that's what I like to do. I like to scope it out by regions because if I'm in one region, I may as well try to see as much as I can while I'm there. Because especially traveling from the Bahamas, it's so expensive. Like everything we do, it has to originate from Miami or from Fort Lauderdale, right? You always
Yes.
have to get there and then, okay, where can I go from Fort Lauderdale? Where can I go from Miami?
All right, so that's a good travel tip right there from you. Persons in the Caribbean, usually the hub is either Miami or Fort Lauderdale. So a
Yeah,
US visa is a must for
yes,
persons who want to really travel wide and broadly, right?
yes,
So try to get your US visa
yes,
as and get as many years on that visa as possible so that you can
absolutely.
have years upon years traveling and always remember that Miami and Fort Lauderdale is the hub for the
Is,
Caribbean,
is it
right?
the same? Is it the same with Jamaica?
It is. It
Okay,
is.
I would
Many
think so.
times, well, we do have direct flights going to Central and even South America. So when I was going to Peru, I left from here to go to Panama. I didn't have to go to Miami. Um, and I think there is a direct flight from here to Belize.
Okay,
So you do have some direct flights here.
Okay.
I think we just recently added a new direct flight from Jamaica to Sweden.
Oh, nice.
So, and then we have a direct flight from Jamaica to Nigeria. So
Ooh, direct.
we are,
Okay.
yeah, we are blossoming and blooming in that area of of direct
I wish
flights.
I wish we had a direct flight to Nigeria.
Yes. Oh yes, you said you love Nigeria. All right. So I recently watched a video
Mhm.
of someone eating deep fried scorpions, snails, and cockroaches. So I want to ask you, what is the weirdest thing that you've eaten while traveling abroad?
I think the weirdest, well, two for me. The weirdest thing I've eaten, well, three, no, two. The weirdest thing would probably be guinea pig
Okay.
and alligator.
Okay. Where did you eat those and how did it taste?
The alligator, I think I had the alligator while I was in South Florida. I had the guinea pig while
Okay.
I was in Peru.
You had a guinea pig in Peru. Oh, thank God I didn't eat that when I was there.
Uh-huh. And the
I
thing
cannot
is,
manage.
when they prepare it, a guinea pig is like a rodent. It looks like a big rat.
Yes.
When they prepare it, it's not like the feet and everything is cut off. It looks just like it looks whole, cooked it just like, so you know what you're eating. It's not like the meat is cut off or like sliced so you like maybe don't have an idea. It's the whole actual animal.
Uh, okay. I don't know. I don't know how people stomach certain things. I will be totally turned off. But I don't
Listen,
eat certain things. But when I was living in Taiwan, I mean, Chinese people eat everything.
yes.
Anything that can fly, anything that can crawl, anything that can walk. So I would go to this market. We call it the night market, and it's a special market that they have these exotic dishes like
Oh.
snakes, eels, as you know, the scorpions, the cockroaches, the monkeys, and eating the monkey brain
Oh,
because it is
wow.
said that if you eat the monkey brain, you get smarter.
Wow. I need some of that then.
So I will see these things, but I never participated. I couldn't manage that. Couldn't at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, you have to have a strong stomach. Very
Yeah.
strong stomach.
I know we in the Caribbean, we don't deal with certain things.
I'll try it once, I'll try it once
Yes.
just to say I tried it, but that's about it.
That's
I've tried
about
it
it.
once just to say I've tried it. I don't want to have it again.
I can just imagine. All right, so let us go now and ask you about which which is your favorite movie or book about travel?
My favorite movie or book about travel. Oh, you know what movie I absolutely love? I love The Tourist with Angelina
The
Jolie.
Tourist. I love it too.
Everyone, whenever people get asked this question, they always say eat, pray, love. And
Yes, yeah, I
I
was
love
about to
eat, pray, love.
say
Like,
eat, pray, love. I love it. And the traveling pants one. What's that one again?
yeah, sisterhood of the
Sisterhood
traveling
of the
pants.
traveling pants. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, but I love Eat, Pray, Love just because, I love how beautifully it depicts Italy and Venice. And I've been to
yes.
Italy, but I didn't get a chance to visit Venice. And I'm
Listen,
still,
listen to me. I have got to go to Venice. You have got to go to Venice.
I was, when I was in Italy, I was with my friend and she got up early and she was taking the train out. And I was just too lazy to get up and to take the train. And to this day, I regret it. I was like, you should have
Oh,
just gotten up and done it.
yeah. So for you, it is The Tourist.
Mhm.
And do you have any book, any favorite book of yours?
Any favorite book? Not that comes to mind immediately.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but
I
definitely
know Eat, Pray, Love was a book first, and then they turned it into a movie. So
yeah, I read Eat, Pray, Love too, and I did feel like the book was better.
yeah,
But you know,
yes. All right. So what inspires you to travel? Because now you said you are no longer in the marine industry. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm still in the industry. I'm just not actually actively on the tanker.
Okay, so you're not actively on tanker right now.
Hmm.
So why do you keep on traveling? What fuels you? If it's not a career, then what is it that fuels this love for travel?
I'm just such a world citizen, and I believe, I'm always in awe of creation, and just so thankful of this place that we get to call home. And I just feel as though there's so much beauty in the world, and the more I travel and the more I see, the more I want to see. And so it's almost like it almost fuels me to see more. And I love interacting with new cultures, embracing new cultures, and I've just always had this desire to just get out there and see. I don't know if you know much about the Bahamas or even specifically the island where I'm from. My island is literally 21 miles long from end to end.
Wow.
You could drive the
What's your
entire island.
island?
You can drive the entire island in 30 minutes or less
Wow.
from
What's the name of
end
your island?
New Providence.
Oh, New Providence. Okay.
So you
I have a lot of
could,
friends from Bahamas, so
yeah. So the island is tiny. I mean, it's a beautiful island. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of natural beauty as well. But I've just been open to seeing so much, and so I'm just always searching for new experiences and wanting to see more, wanting to learn more about new cultures, and not just me, but also exposing a lot of people like my family, my friends, who I try to bring along with me as much as possible. And the more I travel, the more I also realized, how blessed I am, not just as an individual, but also in terms of my country, my home. I've just been exposed to so much, and that exposure has just made me so grateful. And I just love sharing my experiences with people, and helping people to get out and see the world as well, and helping them to understand that it's not so scary, or it's not what they're thinking. It's a lot easier than what they're thinking. So I love helping people, especially persons that are embarking on their solo travel journey, to just get out there and see the world. If someone would have told me 10 years ago, to jump on a plane and go to Dubai, I would have been like, oh, you crazy. Like, no way. Like, am I going unless it's like a big family trip or like, a big group trip. But now, these days, it's the norm to literally jump on a plane and go anywhere, and even by myself. So, yeah, just the experience of it all.
yes, it really encourages you to be brave and just step out into the big wide world and
Absolutely.
learn. So, what I want you now to do is to talk to the viewers and tell the viewers how important learning languages are. Because listen to me, you got to learn your languages if you're traveling, if you're looking to make friends across borders, if you're looking to do cross-cultural communications and to work in different countries, many people long and yearn to go to the USA. Um, I even have a student here, my Spanish student from Colombia. Hi, Sharon. And, she's learning English so that she possibly, when she gets older, could go to the United States or the UK or Canada to work and
Yeah.
earn. So, how important is learning English or learning different languages to traveling?
I think it's absolutely important. For me, and I've struggled. I've struggled with learning new languages, but in high school I studied French. In college I studied Spanish. And during the pandemic, I tried to get back into it as well, because the thing is that when you go to different countries, and even if you learn a little bit of the language and you try to communicate with persons in their language, they appreciate that so much, and I find that they're always more willing to help you than if you go there and you just say, "Hi, do you speak English? Hi, do you?" Like, if you go there and you're trying to communicate with them in their language on some level, I think that just opens them up to being so much more helpful. And just the ease of moving through the world, if you've exposed yourself to different languages, is just so crucial. So that's one of my constant journeys, is trying to get back into my French, get back into my Spanish, because I do spend a considerable amount of time in Europe.
Okay. All right, so guys, learning languages very important. So get on those apps,
Yeah,
hire a teacher to teach you if you want. Go on Facebook, make a friend, and exchange services.
yep.
Yeah, you teach
I'm
them
always,
English and you will learn Spanish.
I'm
Things like
always
that
on
to
my
contribute.
Rosetta Stone. I'm always on my
You're Rosetta Stone, you have Duolingo, you have a whole heap of these
a whole sort of yeah,
language apps that you can learn. Get on it, guys, because learning language is not only for now, it's for the future. All right, and
absolutely.
encourage your children to learn their languages. All right, what is the most stressful thing about traveling?
The most stressful, well, for me, over the last year, the most stressful, in more recent times, the most stressful thing for me has just been, dealing with COVID protocols and trying
Right.
to, get around them. Like I literally just got back from Puerto Rico and I almost got stuck in Puerto Rico because coming back, my girlfriend who had traveled with me.
I saw it in your stories.
So you see, right? I was like, oh my goodness, we're going back home and we're trying to explain to the agent we are literally going back to our country. Like,
Right,
by the time as we get to Miami, I'm sure the visa will be approved, right? But
exactly.
Charlie will not have it. So the COVID protocols have added a lot of stress to the travel process because even me, and a lot of it is my procrastination and my lack of research as well. Because for me, the day before I left Puerto Rico, I was scrambling trying to find somewhere to take a COVID test. The first place I went to, they closed at 3, so I missed them. I took an Uber 40 minutes away. That place said, oh, we're not doing it today. I took another Uber to someplace 20 minutes away. They had closed. I went to Walgreens. They needed an appointment. I went to 4 different places trying to take a COVID test, right? And then something
Wow.
said, Sandy, wait, you're in Puerto Rico. You're going to Miami. Maybe you don't need a COVID test and you're vaccinated. So maybe you don't need a COVID test. And so I went online and I checked and it said, yes, you're in a US territory. You don't need a test to get back to Miami. So I was able to go to Miami. And then when I got to Miami, I took a test at the airport because you need one to get back into the Bahamas. So
Okay.
it was expensive. I spent a lot of money chasing these different COVID places to take a test. Spent $90 on the test in Miami Airport. So it adds a lot of stress to your trip and expense as well, especially when you
Yes.
don't research and you're not prepared. I was too busy having fun. I totally forgot about COVID testing and all of that. So definitely you have to research ahead of time, what are the entry protocols, what are the exit protocols, because a lot of times we think about entry into a certain place, but now with COVID, we have to think, what about the exit protocols? If I'm going someplace, once I leave here, what do they require? Because now the airlines won't let you leave if you don't have what is required by your next destination. So, it's a lot of consideration. It's definitely added a layer to traveling. So I'm preparing to go away next weekend. So I'm just making sure that I have everything,
Right.
lined up in advance because I don't want to go through that again.
Okay. And what if you do get sick? I mean, that's also another thing that you have to think of. What if you test positive? And what if you actually physically get sick? I know many people test positive and they are asymptomatic. They show no signs, symptoms, nothing. But those, you have some people that it affects
Yeah,
physically, like they are tired, they get fever, they, lose lots of smell, taste, all
yeah,
of that, and then they can't move. And if you're stuck in a foreign country and you're sick, that's also another layer that you have to think of.
exactly.
So,
And I always encourage people, please buy travelers, buy trip insurance whenever you travel and make sure it has medical protection in there as well.
listen, I'm actually in the process of getting somebody trip insurance, right?
Right.
Because her thought is if I go there and I'm sick, I need coverage. So, guys, if you're traveling, contact me for your trip insurance, and it should include medical coverage,
Yeah.
right?
Make sure it includes medical because the last thing you want to do is test positive and you have to quarantine for 14 days. Do you know what it costs for accommodations in some countries for 14 days? Oh my goodness.
Wow,
And that is an
that's a
expense I'm
lot.
sure most people are not prepared for on the spot. So
Right.
that's something that you definitely want to make sure that you're prepared for. And I was in Jamaica earlier this year, I think back in July. And my last night in Jamaica, I got really, really sick. And I thought I had COVID because I was having chills, I was having joint pain, I was having headaches. I was like, oh my God, I have COVID, right? And I went the next day and I did a COVID test, and the COVID test came back negative. So I'm like, okay, I don't have COVID. And then I did some more research and I learned that I had food poisoning. I had,
Wow.
yeah, I'd gotten food poisoning. But it was so bad that I left Jamaica in a wheelchair. And I just kept thinking
No.
to myself that, I need to get, at least if I can get out of Jamaica and into Florida, I'll be okay because I have family there. I didn't have any family or anything in Jamaica, so at least I wanted to get there. But it just brought me back to thinking, this is why it's so important to have travel insurance. Because what if I
Yes.
did have COVID? You know what I mean? And I had to stay there for 14 days. That hotel was expensive. You know?
Yes. Which
So
hotel were
instead,
you at
S Hotel.
again?
S Hotel in Montego
Oh, the
Bay.
S Hotel in
Mm-hmm.
Mobay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was
Okay.
like,
Yes, it
boy,
is. It is pricey.
it's pricey. Yeah, it's pricey. So I would not have wanted to see my bill for the next 14 days.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So now that we're talking about health and our safety when it comes to health, let us talk now about safety when we're traveling abroad. Physical safety, like you just talked about your health, safety when you're traveling and trying to make sure that you don't get COVID. But let us be real. We do have an international thriving business out there called human trafficking, which is sad but true. And we as Black women, if you're watching and you're white, hey, everyone, no matter what race, color, skin you are, you have to be aware that you do have people when you travel to different countries that could want to kidnap and take you away. So talk a little bit more now about safety concerns,
Yeah,
safety concerns in the different countries and how we can keep ourselves safe and our families safe.
absolutely. Back in the day, me and friends, we always used to make a joke that nobody kidnaps black people. That we used to be like, oh, we could go anywhere, we straight. Nobody kidnaps black people. That is not the case. That is
That's true.
not the case anymore, and especially women, and especially if you're getting into solo travel, there's so many things that you have to be cognizant on. From the minute you decide, okay, I'm going to do a trip, you need to let your family, someone you trust, someone at home, you need to let them know exactly where you're going, what time you're going to be there, and you need to check in with someone every day on your trip. Even if you forward them your itinerary, so you don't have to check in, but they have your itinerary so that they know, okay, within 4 to 5 days, this is where you're going to be, this is where you're staying, these are the activities, so that if they do check in with you halfway through the trip or they don't hear from you, at least they know this is what she planned to do or this is the last place, where she was planning to be. So I always leave, either it's with my cousin or it's with my aunt, I always let them know exactly where I'm going to be, what hotel I'm staying at, what Airbnb. I even give them the address of the Airbnb, give them the address of the hotel. I let them know if I'm renting a car, if I'm taking Ubers. If I'm in an Uber, if the feature is allowed, I share my location with them or I share my trip with them. They always have my plane, my flying itinerary, so they know what time I'm supposed to land. Because depending on where you go, you may not have connection right away to communicate. But at least if they have your itinerary, they can have an estimate of where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there until you get a chance to check in. And then normally if I'm going on solo trips, I normally tend to stay in a hotel more so than an Airbnb, just for that extra layer of security. You
Security.
know, you never know if someone's watching you, if they're seeing you move about town by yourself, and then they see you go back to an Airbnb. At least if you're going back to a hotel, you know, there's the hotel staff, you can check in with them. You have that extra layer of protection than if you're going to an Airbnb. So normally with solo travel, I always advise people as much as possible, if it's in your budget, try to stay in a hotel. And I always choose a floor. If they put me on the ground floor, I always ask them for a higher floor to put me up a little bit higher. It's just like little things like that, you know, when you're moving around. Try not, I never travel with flashy jewelry. I never travel with like expensive bags or big bags, you know, because I have a friend, he was on a trip with his camera around his neck, and someone literally came up and grabbed the camera, you know, off his neck. And he's like a big, husky, tall guy, you know, and he said they literally came and grabbed the camera off his neck. So I try not to be flashy. I try not to move around a new city looking like a tourist as much as I don't give anybody
Well, you
my
know,
cell
depending on
phone.
where you're going, you can't hide it.
Depending on where you're going, you can't hide it. Yeah, you're right. But I try to, as much as possible, not to be doing too much selfies and this and that. Most times, if I can, I'll hire a photographer. But I just try to minimize the things that I do to stand out as much as possible. Right? I think that you have to be so aware of where you are at all times. And I try not to, if I'm traveling alone, I try not to stay out late at night and then have to travel back by myself. So normally if I'm solo traveling, I check the time of sunset and I try to be back around that time, back to my hotel if possible. So those are just some of the things that I try to do. I try to travel with as little cash as possible. Most places now you can use your card 90% of the time. Even now, a lot of places when I went to Puerto Rico, a lot of vendors were asking me to send them the payment through PayPal. So, like, that's an
What?
option too. Yeah, they
Yes.
say, oh, do you have PayPal? Okay, you can send the money through PayPal. I was like, really? You don't just want to swipe my card? They were like, no, just send it through PayPal. So I was like, okay. You know, because I hate
Okay.
traveling with cash on me. You know,
Yes,
I hate
yes.
traveling. So those are just some
It's
of the
good to
things.
have a bit of cash just in case for
A little bit,
emergencies,
yeah. I always
but
have a
not
little bit,
not as
but not a
right,
large amount of cash on me.
right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, just
So those
you
are
just always have
great
to have your
tips,
wits about
Sandy.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, those are great tips because for persons who are not avid travelers, many of these things that you're talking about, it wouldn't even occur to them. I
Yeah.
mean, you do have persons, even in the hotel, that will come up to you and ask questions. Oh, where are you from? How are you doing? Are you traveling with anybody? And you think they're being friendly, and you don't even know that they're just asking questions to get more details about you because maybe something is going to happen down the line. You just don't know. So
You
be
just don't
careful with
know.
just giving out information like that to people. You
My
understand?
on the ship we have a saying, loose lips sink ships.
There you
So
go.
you be very careful about the information that you divulge. You can be friendly and you can be nice, but certain sensitive information about your trip, you want to not divulge
Right.
that
You want to keep that close to you. All right.
as much as
And so
possible.
we're wrapping up now, guys. I don't see anyone with any questions. I see people with comments, though. So someone, Afro and Curve, says, so true. Checking with someone, anyone, because we're tired of hearing people going missing on trips,
Yeah,
being kidnapped and having horror stories, even being arrested because they didn't know that they couldn't take certain things in different
right.
countries. For example, listen up, please. When I went to Singapore, you went to Singapore, Sandy?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? What you cannot do in Singapore? You
You mean with
cannot
the
chew
gum? You mean
gum.
with the
You
chewing
can
gum?
you can't chew gum.
And don't spit it on the sidewalk.
Sweetheart, I never wanted to chew gum like when I went there. You know when people tell you don't do something, that's when you want to do it? You cannot take durian. I'm not a fan of durian anyway, but if somebody likes durian and takes it into Singapore, you can be arrested. If they find you with gum or if they find you littering, just throwing things on the ground, you can be arrested. So you have to be aware of the norms and customs of the country you're going to. You can get yourself in trouble.
Absolutely. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm not a person that I don't like to research, but we need to get into researching the cultures and the countries where we're traveling to. You can't just go
Absolutely.
there and think everything is the same, just like how it is where you're from or your region. And you have to respect people's culture. You have to respect their rules, their regulations. You have to respect their culture, their country.
Absolutely. And so those who are on, remember to follow Sandy. Tell Sandy her link is right up at the top. And of course, follow me. I am Venice Irving here. And so you can get more information. I will be doing this series every week. I may not do it for that Christmas week.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself a break. But
Which
I
is
will be taking,
understandable.
right, I'll be taking on different people that have travel businesses, travel blogs. They do travel for, they that's what they do. They
Yeah.
socialize in travel and they make money from travel. So I will be using this platform to talk to them. And so if you're interested in travel, if it's something that you love and you want to do, come on board and listen out every week. Sunday evenings, I will be talking to a new person every evening. So my last question for you, Sandy, before you go, what tips now would you give to someone that's looking to travel abroad? Maybe someone that's not as an avid traveler as you are. You gave some safety tips, which is great, but some general tips now. What do you think they can do if they're looking to make that a part of their lifestyle?
Well, I always tell people, if you're a novice traveler, you're looking to get into travel, take it slow, baby steps. I always encourage people to start close to home, right? Where, especially like for persons like us in the Caribbean, we have so many amazing destinations in the Caribbean. Start close to home, to other Caribbean islands. And as you explore those and you get a little bit more comfortable because the culture may be a little similar to yours. You get your feet wet, you get comfortable moving around those islands. Then try to venture out a little bit further. Try to venture out maybe to the South America or the Central America. I always tell people try to stay a little bit close to home. You don't have to jump into Asia right away. You don't have to jump in, especially if you're solo traveling. You don't have to make that plunge right away. Start a little bit closer to home and experience cultures that are a little bit closer to yours.
Like yours, yeah.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons I love traveling the Caribbean. I love going to Jamaica, to Cuba, been there multiple times, and I always go back. So I think a lot of people think that you have to leave this region to get amazing experiences, and you don't. We have amazing experiences right here.
Right here.
But that's one of the things I always advise people is to start close to home, get your feet wet, and then branch out from there.
Absolutely. Very good, Sandy. So for you guys who are interested in wanting to get more into travel, you can partner with me in my business. You can contact me at Hello Happy Teachers. HelloHappyTeachers at gmail.com, and then we can talk about how you can partner with my business to get more deals on how to start traveling abroad. You can do cruises, you can fly, of course, you can even go, you can take a jet plane, a private plane. Hello. Sometimes we didn't even know that these are options that we have, yeah?
That's so
You can
true.
even book a private plane if you so desire, darling. Listen, rich life, darling. Rich auntie vibes. So you can do a lot of these things. You can even book a private yacht right there in Miami and sail around and stuff like that. So get on board. Again, the email address is hellohappyteachers@gmail.com. So Sandy,
Yes,
it was a pleasure having you
absolutely.
here.
Thank you for
Listen,
inviting me.
people, you see the beautiful black woman doing her thing. She is a trendsetter in her career, Maritime, and now she's traveling the world. Listen, we can do it too.
Yeah,
Don't let
absolutely.
people tell you that you can't do it. If it's
Okay.
in your mind, if it's set in your heart, and you want to venture out there and travel the world, go right ahead. You know, Sandy, life is too short
It
for
truly
us to
is.
sit and live in regrets.
And I'm
We,
so
I mean,
excited. I'm so excited to see all of the other Caribbean-based travel bloggers and content creators and persons like yourself who have travel businesses. It's just amazing.
yes. So tell before you go, tell me what you do now because you talk about travel blogging and travel vlogging, which I know you do. So tell people now more about what you're doing right now.
As it relates to maritime or travel, you're meaning?
Travel, just to travel.
Oh, okay. So what I'm doing now, I'm just getting ready to launch my website, sandysuitcase.com, for Sandy's Suitcase Travel Co. And so I'm excited to just use it as a resource for people that are getting into travel, people that need tips about travel. I'm going to have on there, if you want, you can book consultations to speak with me because a lot of times persons message me and they want to pick my brain. Hey, I'm thinking about going here. Hey, what do you think about this? So now you get me all to yourself for an hour, for 30 minutes, for whatever it is you want to ask as many questions as you want. So that's one of the things that I'm excited about. And then also looking forward to hosting a group trip next year.
Yes.
Getting ready to launch that in the new year. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait to share that with everyone. So those are some of the things that I have coming up. 2020, obviously we got derailed because of COVID, but trying to get everything back on track for next year.
And Sandy has a thriving IG account, and the number of reels I see Sandy do, no man, and the reels are nice too, you know, very entertaining. You could just be on it and scrolling, listening to Sandy. And I
And
saw
I have
that
fun. I have so much fun
another
making them.
travel blog reposted your reel. I don't
Pardon?
even remember the name of it. Another travel blog reposted your
Oh,
reel.
I think Black Passport Stamps or Black Travel Club.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So
Somebody
listen,
sent it to me yesterday, so I
yes,
saw it
I saw
yesterday.
it. I saw the repost and it is gaining, it's
Yeah,
going viral quickly. So listen, we out here, people. We are out
we
here
out
and
here.
we're doing things. Listen, we're doing things. So Sandy from Bahamas, Venice from Jamaica, we're encouraging Caribbean people to start traveling, learn new languages,
Mm-hmm.
meet people that don't look like you,
Yes.
expand your mind, learn about the different countries and the cultures, eat their food, some of the food,
Mm-hmm.
not all of it. And just go out there and be curious. Life is too short, people. Life is too short. All right, and remember to follow us on Instagram too. So take care, Sandy. It is a pleasure. One of these days we have to chat again, specifically about the career, because I know the persons in Jamaica will be very interested to hear about your career journey and you know how that helped you to become who you are today.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
so
Venice, for
much.
having me.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.